Okay, here is the system setup of all the key components. And let's go ahead and look at all the components here. So we have the Raspberry Pi with power coming in. I have 5.5 volt power going to this regulator, which outputs 3.3 volt to these octocoupler boards, which are 3.3 volts on this side. And then I also have the expansion port with 16 pins on it to allow me to have 16 input I/O ports on the that then go into the header pins of the Pi. And these are can be used for I/O. I'm just using them for input because these are just going to be for input sensors. And right now I have a hardwired sensor that's closed currently. So with it being closed, the circuit's closed, so power's looping through the whole circuit. And as a result, we get red lights on the 3.3 volt side and then the red light on the 12 volt side. So, and that is hooked up to these power blocks with the power coming in here that's split off this adapter that's plugged in right there. And basically, just for a full test at the very end, so I have power into here and I have power into this block, and then I'm linking all the power up on all these terminals up until, okay, so I didn't do the last one, but I did this one right here. So I just made sure that power is coming into this sensor. And if I press this sensor, it'll light up. All right. And because I don't have a wire hooked up on this side, I might have power coming in this side. It's not giving me a red light on this side like it does over here because this has power coming to it, as indicated by the green light. So I could have put this red wire over to the end here and make sure that that last terminal is getting power. I'm sure it is, but that would have been the better test. Anyways, for this test, I have this closed circuit, and I have an open circuit right here, which is this one. And this is on, this is coming on input 1. This is coming out of this input 3. Which it looks like it's hooked up to this green one, and the yellow one is this first one. So if I press this one, the input on yellow is going to come in, and they're both going to go to this board, this expansion board, which then goes into the Pi. Now this setup is to do a system test. I just want to test all the key components as they're hooked up and validate everything. So in order to do that, I have a software program written up here in Python that's going to test my zones. So right now, those inputs are coming into this board right here, this Raspberry Pi board, which then is going to get picked up off the software. And this is going to be actually where all the software controls everything. So basically, I have it where you can notify via Alexa. I can send notifications to Alexa. I can also send notifications to email. That's all software setup and all system setup inside the on the Pi. And I don't necessarily go into all those details of that because there is some setup to be able to send notifications to Alexa, and then to set up email is also a setup in itself. Those are all separate. For this video, I'm just going to show how we're going to validate this setup because I'm really interested in the security setup and the wiring setup and everything. So this is what it's going to do. So basically false, they have the false flag here, which means I'm not going to send notifications out. So I'm not going to send a notification to Alexa. I'm not going to send a notification to email. So basically those notifications will tell me when security's been breached or something's been opened in any of the sensors. So that'll tell me that something's changed and that'll be my alert notification system. So let's go ahead and run it. All right, so I'm running it now, and I'm printing out inputs A and inputs B, which is basically, I'm just saying that's just channel A and channel B of this board. It's just checking all the different inputs on there. And right now it's saying the test switch is open on input B. So if you notice, that's this one right here. So if I close this, lights come on, signal gets sent up into the Pi, which then goes in the program, and now it says, hey, everything looks good because all of the circuits are closed. Because if this was on a door, the door would be closed and the button would be pressed in. So therefore, there is no security problems because the door is closed. But now as soon as I left up of that, ba-da, look at that. It opens back up and says, hey, there's an open test switch and there's a problem there. And this is just a loop that keeps running. So I can just hit Control-C and stop it, and it'll say, hey, I'm disarming, and then the program will end. So this validates everything. Validates the system, my system wiring, my software that I'm using, which I wrote all the software myself. There's all sorts of, I know there's other options out there that I need to go investigate as far as software goes for monitoring your inputs and security inputs and stuff like that. But for now, I just wrote my own Python. I just got busy and wrote the Python scripts, and just wanted to make sure I had like a nice test software set up to do everything, and mission accomplished. So basically all that's left now is to hook this up completely into the entire system. So I got this template board, which I'm going to use as, I'm going to mark where these holes are with a pin onto this piece of paper, and then I'm going to take this piece of paper as a template to go drill out holes so that I can mount these boards onto this piece of plexiglass. And then after that, we're going to do one final system setup and a final test.